Two great rivals go head-to-head with a spot in the grand final on the line. The minor premiers Sturt and the second place West Torrens Eagles. Boy, have they ever had some epic tussles over the last few years, and it feels like deja vu all over again as they meet tonight. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to some live softball action. It's the Premier League competition here at Softball South Australia on beautiful Ghana land. I'm Eric Balnar, and calling the game, two great softball minds. We've got Anthony Weatherstone and Lee Hull. Gentlemen, thanks so much for joining me. How excited are you for this one tonight?
This is huge. This is a game you always used to look forward to. So two best teams in the comp going at it tonight. Looking forward to it.
Yes, I think it's going to be a knockdown. Take the result where you can, because if I was one of these two teams, I wouldn't be one of fronting Port Adelaide on Wednesday night. They were impressive last Wednesday.
Often we get some of the best games of the season in this contest right here. Winner goes to the grand final. The loser goes and plays in the preliminary final on Wednesday versus Port. Why is that? Why does this game always seem to give us a treat?
Because it's the one game, I suppose, you've played through the season, you've earned the right for a double chance. So it's your one free shot at it where you can basically just go hang everything out, go for it, and if it doesn't come off, if your plan doesn't work, there is a second chance, and you've earned that right for the second chance. So, but you know, as Lee said, it's Port on Wednesday night. It's not going to be easy for the loser. So. This game last year went to a tie-break.
It did.
And, West Torrens lost that 3-2 to Sturt, and that was, tense the whole way. So expecting more of the same.
Yes, and unfortunately there's a cloud hanging over the Sturt side because their number one hitter, the lead-off batter and catcher supreme, Sarah Tonkin, is down with the COVID, and so she's not here, so they will miss her. Also on the West Torrens side, Danny Blacksky is, I think her husband's got COVID, so two strong people missing. But somebody comes in, gets their opportunity. But what you mentioned about Port, Eric and Anthony, is that quickly that Port will be facing somebody that's lost.
Well, here's a look at the defensive lineup for Sturt. And normally on that C spot, the catcher spot, you would see Sarah Tonkin, one of the best catchers in the game. She's not in the lineup tonight. What does this do? How does this shift the tactics here for Sturt?
Massively. It's a huge change because, in a situation where one of your best players is unavailable, and in a catching role, for example, if she's injured, at the very least, you'd sort of hope that she'd come down, support the team, and she'd be here, and you could utilise her mind still. She could even call the game for the young catcher that has to replace her. But because of the COVID, she's not here. So we're asking an awful lot of Neve Adams, who's a talented young kid, but we're asking an awful lot with Sturt's number one pitcher also out with injury.
And because the number one pitcher, Millie Fidge, is out, in comes Tash Straps. Now look at those numbers. Very capable pitcher, average against under 200, a 136 ERA. She's been on state teams, but normally she's been playing first base. So it's a whole shift outside of that because Fidge is out, their first baseman has to move to catcher, and she's throwing to Neve Adams, who hasn't been the regular catcher this season. It's going to be a big task for Tash Straps tonight, especially going toe-to-toe with Steph Jasinski.
Yes, it is, and they've changed three positions, haven't they? There's been three positional changes: catcher, first base, and third base. Beck Jury comes in there to replace Neve at third, and Ruby Fidge, who pitched a terrific game a few games ago for the Sturt A-grade side, she finds herself at first.
Are you surprised that the Olympian, Belle White, the Olympian catcher, she caught a game in the Olympics just less than a year ago, is not catching the game tonight, and she's at shortstop instead?
Yeah, it's a 50-50 in the sense of, I think she's probably the best catcher in the country, and you've got her at shortstop in a big final. But
pretty good shortstop too.
She's a pretty good shortstop too. So I suppose you can make an argument both sides. At the end of the day, I probably just would have asked Belle, to be honest, and just tell, you're leading this team, you're the one that's going to be out there. So
this is the batting lineup that the Eagles will have, and there's a lot of women on this team who can put the ball in play, so Belle will play a big role over at short. That middle of the lineup, Sophie Hoyle had a big year. Steph Jasinski had that 354 mark. And then Carly Allen in that 8-hole this year has been super effective. And, of course, Amber Hood at the top, a walk machine. It's not really a lineup that has too many breaks in it.
No, it doesn't. And once they get on a roll, they've done it plenty of times this year. They have multiple, double, 2 base hits and 3 base hits. So when they get on a roll, they get really wound up and they bat all the way down. So it's up to the Sturt defence to shut them down. And that's why I'd keep Bell White there, because there's going to be some balls going through that area.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the big change there at the start of the season, the Eagles lose the dominant, the most dominant player next to Steph Trzynski and Jordan Harris. Irreplaceable, and yet they go and recruit Amber Hood. She's batting .419. She's, she's got 25% of their runs, and she's also leading the stats against Sturt for hits with 6 for the year. So a very, very lucky pickup.
Well, buckle up, everybody. This match always promises to be special, and Tash Straps delivers a first pitch strike going against the aforementioned Amber Hood. The Falcons, at this time last year, they had 2 different pitchers in the games, in Zolly Adams and Millie Fidge. It's a club that prides themselves on depth across the board, from the top divisions down to the lower divisions, and it's kind of a next person up equation, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's especially with young players. We've said, I think, before on the broadcast, it's sometimes the young players come in, they don't have an understanding of the rivalry or the meaning behind it, and so they can play with a lot more freedom, say, than maybe an experienced player who's just seen it all. So it's a bit of counter everything, but it's going to be a big night for the Falcons. They're going to have to play far beyond normal just to get this one through.
Yeah, well, first chance we had to see Maneve for a while, but she's a terrific young catcher. Don't be misled by it, and she's got a huge arm.
Yeah.
Probably only second. Bell White's got a huge arm. Maddie Cameron's got the strongest arm in the league, but Neve Adams can't be that far behind.
Yeah.
So they go still on her arm. Good luck.
Hood battling away. Lengthy at-bats is not something uncommon from this leadoff hitter. She works counts very early on in games.
Yeah, and I was talking to a couple of Eagles people before, and I mean, my take on the Eagles' game plan tonight must be around about taking as many pitches as they can make these second and third pitches throw, bat deep into the counts and find good pitches to hit, not get caught up in the junk.
It's a great turn at bat. You lead off batter, that's what you need, don't you? Go full count every time, get your money's worth, put pressure back in the middle. That's what it does. Pitchers like having one pitch to a batter.
Making them work right away. This is a full 7-inning contest, by the way. Normally you see 90-minute time games. That means that this game could go anything from, 75, 80 minutes to 2 hours, over 2 hours, like we've seen in the past between these two teams. And Amber Hood, a rocket shot past a sprawling Bell White, and a gritty at-bat from Amber Hood.
She was horizontal, wasn't she, Bell?
Well, it's a bit of case of history repeating itself, because last year Jordan Harris did exactly the same thing. She put a ball in that hole between shortstop and third base. She got on. Then there was a couple of pass balls at the plate, and she ended up scoring. So big start for West Torrens.
West Torrens had a lead in that game, and Sturt tied it up, and then a dramatic conclusion in extra innings with a literal walk-off.
Jackie's job here is the number 2 batter to put the ball on the deck. Like that.
That's a really good bunt.
Played over, and that throw is airmailed. And there is the trickle-down effect from maybe not having Sarah Tonkin in the lineup and players having to move around on the diamond. And already an airmailed throw, and it's a runner in scoring position.
But we've talked about this, boys, plenty of times, haven't we? Put your job, put the ball on the deck. You never know what can happen. We saw what happened then.
Yeah.
Beck Jury playing over at third base. Not the normal, well, she has played third base, but not the regular third base on this A-grade side of the Sturt Falcons. Everything has just shifted, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely a different feeling. But I mean, poor old Beck Jury's just come from a game before as well, and so it's hot here today. So
And she caught in that game.
Lana Kaesler up to bat. She has been such an integral part of this West Torrens team that has been knocking on the door for a number of years now, but they just haven't been able to bang it down.
yeah, Falcons need an out here.
Well, they don't want a deep fly ball out to Maddie Cameron here. Look, the sun's in their eyes, the outfielders. Shielding the sun out of their eyes.
Yeah, so a lot being asked of Neve Adams early here. She's already got a runner at 3 with none out. Hasn't caught a lot so far this season. She's got to make sure that she keeps the ball in front of her if it's in the dirt at all times.
Yep.
And a swing and a miss for Lana Kaesler. So Tash Straps gets a very crucial strikeout now with 2 runners in scoring position as Jackie Bill is over at second.
So Sophie Hall hasn't played a lot recently, so probably her first genuine, at bat for a couple of weeks now. So
Work commitments.
Yeah, work commitments. Sorry, that's not implying anything else. Just she's just going to have to find a pitch here. Oh, not that she's going to get an opportunity to.
Nope, but that will load the bases very early on for somebody that you probably don't want to leave the bases loaded for. That is Steph Trzynski, the reigning Cath Coral medalist, not just because of her tremendous performance in the circle, but also what she's been doing in the batter's box.
Yeah, 354 on the season, but more scarily, 615 slugging, and she's batted in 18 of the team's runs. So would probably have rather had a go at Sophie and try and get yourself to 2 out and bring Steph to the plate. So big challenge here early, and I think what we'll see is this happening a lot tonight. I think Bell and that, she'll be calling them in and really showing her experience and her leadership, and just making sure that the Sturt Falcons stay on task, try and keep it simple.
Looked like the ball hit Sophie Hoyle on the shin, I reckon.
Trzynski will be pitching in this game. You usually need a very small number of runs to win a game when Steph Trzynski is pitching, and Steph can help herself right here.
Yeah,
Maximum 2, I'd suggest, as I always have. Oh,
she went swinging, it's chopped, but
Here's
Indigo Beck de Silva makes the play. Runner will tag. It's a throw in. It's not on the money, and Amber Hood touches the plate, and it's an RBI. Job done for Steph Trzynski. And the Eagles have a lead.
Yeah, good discipline by Steph. I mean, she stayed, got the pitch that she was after, created a sack fly in that situation, so allowing the very fast Amber Hood to score. So unfortunately for Sturt, now Kelsey Nucky comes to the plate and still got runners at 1 and 3 and still just the 1 out.
Look at the outfielders shielding the sun out of their eyes.
It's
a problem.
If you said at the beginning of the game that West Torrens would have 1 out and bases loaded and only score 1 run, I'm sure Sturt would say, okay, we'll take that.
And Steph Trzynski was at the plate too. So, but this is deja vu to last year. This is exactly how the Eagles Sturt opened up last year with Zali Adams pitching. Jordan, when she scored, was on a pass ball. It was really smart, fast base running. So
Nucky just chopping away.
But I think you've seen with a couple of the early at-bats, I think the message seems pretty obvious from here is, don't just swing at the first pitch just for the sake of trying to get a front of the count.
Yep.
Tash Straps, with all respect, isn't that type of pitcher. Tash is going to try and work you around the outside. She's got a good curve, got a good change. Just try and keep the ball out of power zones.
That minuscule ERA for Tash Straps, as you saw at the beginning of the season, it's around that 1.5 mark. Longtime state team representative. That crafty changeup.
Yeah, and the last time Tash pitched against the Eagles, she kept them to 1.
Yep.
Now, granted, that was with Sarah Tonkin behind the plate, who does an amazing job of understanding the hitters. So this is the big task that's, you would hope that obviously Sarah shared some of that information over the phone with Neve about what to do here. So.
Well, defense could play a big factor in this game already. I think that run is going to go down as unearned because Jackie Beal reached on that throwing error. That would have been the fly out from Steph Trzynski. That would have been the end of the inning. So already one free base on the board. That's been a bit of a problem. And the hit by pitch, of course.
It was a good block before by Neve. I wanted to see early signs of ball in the dirt, and she dropped straight down and fell on it. So that's a good positive sign.
This leg is hurting Sophie Hoyle when she jogged back the first. Went for it, the leg.
Nucky walks. It might not be the worst case scenario. Nucky, a very dangerous hitter when she gets going. Brody Borovnik, though, she can hit the ball a mile as well, but you probably like your chances a bit better with Borovnik over Nucky.
Well, Brody, by all, is statistically the third best hitter versus Sturt this season. So with the 3 hits that she's had against them, so
maybe not.
Maybe not, but yeah, no, you're right. That being said, Kelsey has been doing that type of role. That's why she's in that position.
Borovnik jammed just a little bit. Bell White fighting the sun, but that's as sure-handed as a person that you're going to get. So the bases were loaded once, then the bases were loaded twice, but West Torrens only score 1 run. And just like that, right off the hop, we've got ourselves a ball game.
Yeah, straight away, it's game on. So I think just as a quick shout out too, I think, Lee, it's Brody Borovnik's 300th club game today.
It is.
Wow.
So
good for her. Congratulations.
So 300 games and you're in a major semi-final. So all the best to Brody. And she's a great kid. Always been good to be around. So.
Well, here's a look at how West Torrens will line up defensively. No Danny Baskai in the game. That is their biggest out. However, it's business as usual, especially in that infield. Sophie Hoyle and Lana Kaesler at third and second. Amber Hood, she's over playing second base. Sorry, Sophie Hoyle at third, and Kelsey Nucky at first. For years, this West Torrens infield, whether they have Jordan Harris or not, has been fantastic, hasn't it?
Like a brick wall.
Yeah, so tonight really is a case of the league's best offense against the league's best defense. And so Sturt lead the league in offense. They lead it in hits, runs, extra base hits, RBIs, runners with scoring position. They win all of those.
However, last year, the big story for West Torrens was their defensive play of their outfielders, especially in that prelim final versus Hills. That will be magnified, as everything is in the finals. However, their best defender is this woman in the circle right here, a sub-1 ERA. Batters hitting less than 150, only 2 walks on the entire season in 81 2/3 inning pitch. Steph doesn't give you too much.
No, and she's lost 2 games for the entire year, ironically, against the Sturt Falcons. Granted, they were early in the year, and both were close games. So, one was a close game, and then, the one after February. But you talk about that defense, Picard and Marchink, yep, not here. So it's a new look Eagles defense with just Jackie Beal
in that
there.
Outfield.
Yeah.
Batting wise, again, Sarah Tonkin usually leads things off, so they've had to shift things around just a little bit. Rachel Tonkin moving back up the lineup to 2. She had been batting at 9 for parts of this year and certainly down the stretch. So things shifting constantly right here for Sturt, but they are one of the most adaptable teams in the business. Steph Trzynski with the ball in hand. She's played for Team Australia before. She is certainly one of the best in the country, Steph Trzynski. She is the reigning Kath Coral medalist. She's great. She's not unbeatable, however.
No, tonight's game plan, we talked about with West Torrens and their offense, to me, taking in pitches and trying to drag the count out. When you're facing somebody of Steph's quality with the ERA that she's got less than 1, it's the opposite to a degree. The Eagles need lead-off outs all night. If they can take away Sturt's ability to try and manufacture runs, then West Torrens are going to go a long way to defending whatever they score.
Neve Adams, a big future in front of her. She was a key part last year of that championship winning team. gets to catch in this game. She leads it off tonight. Trzynski in the circle, I'm sure very anxious to prove that last year's final series was a bit more of an anomaly rather than a trend. She will have been waiting for this game since we threw the first pitch back in October.
Yeah, Neve's second season, her numbers have come down a little bit, but it's a different role that she played. She was lower in the order. She batted 269 last year. She's 191 this year, but she bats 2 behind Tonkin, and that's because she hits sacrifices to advance their runners. Tonight, she's got to take the lead-off role.
Ooh,
She's had a good crack, didn't she?
Yep. I'll just go around the umpires, boys, if you like.
Would love that.
On plate, it's Michael the Flex Bendall. First base is Neville Treblehoff Lawrence. That means Hall of Famer. Softball Australia, Hall of Famer. International Softball Federation, Hall of Famer. Softball South Australia. And on third base, Brett the sleeve, Tyler, show us your tats.
Good battle here from Neve Adams.
Yeah, she's definitely meeting Steph's pace as she's pulling those balls, so would expect to see something at the outside of the plate, maybe a change in pace as well. We'll utilise Steph's curve.
And she'll call time. Think back to just the last half inning. Amber Hood led things off with a lengthy at-bat, a gritty one that kind of table set the inning for West Torrens. Neve Adams, whether she gets on base or not here, has given herself every opportunity and a good at-bat. And she will face a 7th pitch.
That's a really good first at-bat, but it's a final. She's got to make something of it. She's got to give them a chance. I mean, the other thing that the Eagles need to do, apart from getting lead-offs, is have nobody on base when number 3 and Belle White and number 4, Maddie Cameron, come to the plate.
Strikeout number 1 of the day for Steph Trzynski. It wasn't easy, but she got there.
Yeah, that's Steph's go-to pitch. That inside challenge, you've got to ask yourself, is it in the inside edge? Is it over? Can I get my hands around on it? It's she asks so many questions of a hitter.
Rachel Tonkin back batting number 2. That was the role she had last year.
Yeah, and last year in that particular role, similar to what Neve is doing now, her number's 265 down to 233. So,
advance runners. And normally there's a runner right on at the very beginning of the game. Sarah Tonkin with a very high on base percentage this season.
Yep, so she's batting 292 on base at the moment. But her claim to fame this year has been that number 9 role, where she's basically been able to get herself on by either error, walk, hit, and be somebody for Sarah and the top of the Sturt's order to score.
Tonkin had Sarah Tonkin, the one that's out of the lineup today, had an on-base percentage of about 400 at the top of the batting lineup. It's a big percentage to try to compensate for without her. And I'm sure she's watching at home, and it would be hard for her to watch tonight.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But Rachel Tonkin reaches down, puts some pressure on the defense, but Amber Hood, she's pretty sure-handed. 2 up, 2 down.
So far this is going exactly to script for the Eagles. They've got 1 and 2 out. They've got their lead-off out. Belle White's at the plate. Nobody's on, so now Steph gets to attack her. So it'll be interesting to see the plan, how they're going to throw to her tonight. Are they going to challenge? Are they going to throw away from her? We'll soon see. It would be no surprise that Belle leads not only the competition with her at-bats, but she also leads in hits against the Eagles this year with 7. So,
and the woman protecting her in the lineup is Maddie Cameron right behind her, and she's got a few knocks, including a home run this year versus Steph Trzynski.
Yeah.
So it's still a very difficult part of the lineup, but it's made a little bit easier that the bases are clear.
Same game last year, Belle went 3 for 3 and was player of the game. So
Is that good?
well, she's going to need to do that tonight, I think. So
The Olympian. Good cut. This is a best on best battle right now.
yeah.
Best pitcher in the state versus best hitter in the state.
It's an interesting infield at the moment, just looking at the Eagles. Normally they're pretty chirpy, but at the moment you can see it's a very focused infield, very much on their tasks at the moment, letting Steph just get on with her work with Carly.
Well, the Eagles, if you're just joining us and following this competition for the first time this year, just before COVID, they went back-to-back grand finals where they lost in remarkable fashion in both of those games. Last year in the finals series, they were sort of the favorites going into it. They were poised and looking good. They lost this game, the same game last year, to the Falcons, and then were upset by Hills in the preliminary final, and they never got a chance to even have a crack at the grand final.
Yeah.
So this is a group that is very eager to make something count of this very good era of West Torrens softball.
Yeah, it's one of those things you think as a young player when you make a final that you just get another shot the next year, and sometimes that gap between opportunities can be lengthy. So
Bell White, a beautiful piece of the ball, rattles up against the wall. White having a look at 3, she'll hold up at 2, and Bell White with just pure class.
Very good chase from Jackie Beal, though, all the same. It looked like a triple off the bat. She kept it down to 2, so good throwing.
yeah, it's a great piece of the ball by Bell. I think the worrying sign there is that she's done that with nobody on, no pressure, and they've gone at her. So plan A might not have worked.
And both her and Maddie Cameron are terrific batters when there's people on.
Yeah.
Sturt have been very efficient in their opportunities all season. That's kind of the calling card of this Falcons team that won the grand final last year, that won the title the year before because it was the COVID year and they were the minor premiers. And Maddie Cameron out towards the outfield, reaching up and making the catches. Jackie Beal, it looked nervy, but man, oh man, did she need to make that catch.
Maddie Cameron batting 449 on the year. She's batting 500 with a runner in scoring position. She hits that ball an extra 5 feet and we could have tied it up, but a great catch by Jackie Bill, looking right into the sun.
And that was noticeable how she reacted initially looking into the sun, but did the job.
Yeah. I think we might have to review the start time of semi-finals on Saturdays in the future. I'm not entirely sure 6:30 is the best time for it. It's a tough
time.
It's for both teams, sure, but
For the next hour, we're going to be fighting this, aren't we?
If you're a left or centre fielder, or a shortstop, and even a pitcher at the moment, it's not a lot of fun.
Well, this will be the only 6 p.m. start of these final series.
Yeah.
Well, it's a dangerous situation, isn't it? More than tricky. You don't want to get hit by one of these balls that's called softball. It's not soft.
No. Back in the day, we used to take a break about 20 minutes in.
Really? Just to
Yeah.
wait for that sun to dip down behind the stands? Or
You only needed one player to say no thanks. We didn't have masks back then, so yeah.
Couldn't afford them, I think.
Well, Tash Straps will lead things off. Straps, Fidge, and Beck De Silva.
So Carly's going to lead off, batting 366.
Then Mary Fuse, and then back to Amber Hood.
Yeah. So the thing with Carly is didn't get to play this game, bat in this game last year. She was DH'd full. So Falcons need to. I mean, obviously they've just had their guns go through, so they need to get on plan here.
If they can get one on for Amber Hood when she's due up, that changes the equation a little bit.
Yeah.
2-0, free hit here for Carly. Start swinging at this pitch, Carly. I'm telling you, it's going to be a strike.
I think this is one of those nights, Lee, to be honest.
Pretty close.
To be honest, I'd nearly be telling my batters, you know, we're the best offense in the league. We can sit as far as we want into these counts. We can go to 2 strikes if we want to.
That's fair enough.
And let's take as many pitches as we possibly can and put all the pressure on the Sturt pitches in the middle, because it's not Millie Fidge, it's not Zoe Adams, it's not those players. We're asking, you know, an experienced Tash Straps who hasn't pitched a lot this year, and a young Ruby Fidge to try and keep the best offense in the league.
Mary's got to go short here.
Mary Fuse.
They'll probably play, rather than go short, they'll probably play hit and run, I think, just try and chop the ball somewhere so Carly can get a chance to run.
At 1-0, to be honest, Lee, I'd be putting the cue away. I would just let this play out and just simply let the hitters take as much as they can. I mean, Straps and Fidge together, Ruby Fidge that is, they've thrown 38 innings for the season. That's not a lot of work to be sort of, you know, have under your belt coming into a final against a dominant hitting lineup like the Eagles. Tonight's just about finding the best pitch you can find, and that's the one that you hit.
Millie Fidge, their ace through the bulk percentage of innings this season. But an injury late to her has disrupted a few plans.
Her first thought was the correct one there, Mary. It was always going to be a strike, and she was half going and pulled out. Can't hit into a double play here, though.
Oh, Tash Straps was behind 3-0. She's worked her way back in a situation here.
Yeah. But we're already about 10, 12 pitches into this inning so far.
Fuse puts it on the deck. They'll get the lead runner. Can they turn 2? They won't make the throw. But Beck Jury made the simple play to get the lead runner.
Yeah. There'll be a bit of adjustment for the Eagles hitters because of the pace. You know, obviously expecting, you know, or training against more, you know, stronger pitching. But, you know, Tash Straps so far doing a good job as we would expect her to do. You know, she's a veteran even for somebody so young.
Look at the leading team's replay.
But so far, the young girl behind the plate, Neve Adams, doing a great job. She's been really light on her feet. Nothing's been past her, keeping it in front, doing a really good job.
Amber Hood up to bat. She had a hit to lead off the game, a hot shot that just went past an outstretched Bell White. On Neve Adams, she's very much a characteristic of this Sturt softball club. A lot of their players have come up the system being very versatile in positions they've played. Yeah. Adams played short a lot of last year, played third base. She can catch. Sarah Tonkin, when she was coming up, third base. Yeah. Then as the catcher, Bell White has played shortstop, catcher, first base over the last few years.
Oh, look, I remember I was the stupid coach at the time that used to have Maddie Cameron playing second base. I mean, I thought she had a good temperament. I liked her in the infield, and we had an abundance of fast, nippy, sort of really quick left-handed outfielders. So I used to play Maddie at second back in the day, and of course, look at me now. She's
turns out she's a pretty good center fielder.
Apparently, she's one of the best center fielders getting around. So good job, Anthony. So
need the ball in the deck here, Jackie.
Jackie Beal, one of the only batters that bats from this side of the plate in the competition.
See how quick Bell White was going to third on that. Yeah, I'd be waiting a bit late and trying to hit the ball in the gap where Bell's not.
She puts it in play. It goes right towards first and hustling over. Called safe. Jackie Beal puts pressure on the base pass. Ruby Fidge was reaching over. We're going to get a look at it on the leading team's replay.
Couldn't be a better bunt by Jackie. She's put it into the spot where there was no fielder. Ruby's had to go out and get it to then come back because obviously there's nobody at the base because they're all covering the other path. So well done, Jackie Beal. That's smart batting and dangerous now for...
Well, for the second time in as many innings, bases are loaded for West Torrens.
And the big guns are up the bat.
Yeah, only one out as well. So
Lana Kaesler struck out her first time up. Free bases, an early story in this game. There's been an error and 3 walks, 4 and a hit by pitch. 5 free bases, and we've only had 4 outs. Kaesler has it on the ground. It'll be a force play at home. That was best case scenario for Sturt.
They'll take that, absolutely. So
the old 1-2 put out.
yeah, yeah. The interesting, not much Mary could do there. That's the interesting thing, of course, is that Ruby's the reliever, and she's playing first. And I haven't seen her bullpen yet. I know she's pitched earlier today, but it's just interesting, you know, at 1-0, first 2 innings they've loaded up both times. How long Coach Adams is going to hold Straps in the lineup before she makes that change, and how ready Ruby is. So, because she's only a young kid, they'll be asking an awful lot. Eagles are already halfway through their lineup, second time round, and we're in the top 2.
Another plate appearance with bases loaded. This is their 4th one they've had in the game. They've yet to get a hit with bases loaded. Just the fly out to right field from Steph Trzynski that scored the first run of the game. West Torrens getting a bundle of opportunities, but haven't been able to cash one in yet.
Yeah. If Sophie Hall had made contact with that last swing, she would have put that in the airport. That was a massive cut. So
2-2 count. Can Tash Straps weave her way out of another situation? Who's going for her go-to pitch, and it just drifted a bit outside on the off-speed.
Yeah.
Full count. Can't afford to walk the batter.
Can't afford to throw a fat strike either. It's going to have to be something challenging.
And it slips away. It is a walk, so the runner would have scored anyways. So the 3rd walk of the inning, and it is a 2-0 game.
So
4th walk, sorry.
3rd walk of the inning?
4th, yeah.
Of the inning?
Yeah. Oh, of the inning, sorry. Yeah, correction.
5th walk if you include the hit by pitch. 6th if you include the hit by pitch, isn't it?
Well, no, I'm counting that as a walk. Oh, the one that hit the batter, Sophie.
Yeah, 3 in the second, now 2 in the first.
Yeah, 1 innings, yeah, correct.
So you can see Captain Bell White there. She's timed out and just brought her extremely young infield in. When you look at, you know, Tonkin, Fidge, Ruby, that is, Jury, it's a very inexperienced infield. So she's doing her best to keep them calm, keep them on task at the moment.
For the 2nd time today, Steph Trzynski now has bases loaded.
And she'd like nothing better, would she, as the pitcher, the opposition pitcher, to hit one, make it land out there for 2 runs, 2 further runs.
Softball is a funny game where often games are close until they're not. And this is one of those or not moments for Steph Trzynski.
Good pitch, wasn't it?
Yeah, she got caught on that.
She committed her to play a shot at that, and it was wide, and she couldn't reach it.
Yeah, Yankovic got her with the same pitch on a change on the other night too. So
Trzynski jammed a little bit. Straps calls everyone off and makes the play. It's a little rope-to-dope action right now from Sturt Falcons. They're down 2-0, but 6 runners left on base in just 2 innings for West Torrens. This could be a whole lot worse.
it could be. And going back over their win-losses through regular season, this is looking a lot like the round 13 game where West Torrens early did this. They left a lot of base runners on early, and granted, different pitching. Millie Fidge was on the mound for Sturt at the time. But when that change happened and Sturt came on strong towards the end, it's obvious watching West Torrens tonight, they are going out with the intent to take pitches and to find the best pitch to hit.
Yeah.
The only concern I would have as Coach Scott at the moment is that they are some big, big swings at the moment, trying to look like we're trying to end the game right now, which...
Yep.
You could have just poked a couple in the outfield, what you're saying.
I mean, it's hard to tell a power hitter like Trzynski and Hoyle, can you just back off a little bit and just put it into play? But, you know, in both of those situations there, you know, they are big cuts and, you know, that you don't want to make sure that this thing happens. Still no activity in Sturt's bullpen either. There's, I find that really interesting, but...
Well, on that, Anthony, there's been, in 2 innings so far, 6 free bases conceded by Sturt. 1 error, 4 walks, and a hit by pitch.
Yeah. And now you're facing the league's best pitcher with the lowest ERA and the league's best defense. So the battle here, Eagles, same message. Get the lead off. Take away the short game.
It's weird looking at the scorecard because it's 2-0. There's been 6 runners left on base, it reads. But the only hit was the first batter of the game from Amber Hood, and they've gone through the lineup 1.5 times.
Yeah.
So they haven't allowed a hit in now 13 batters.
Yeah. But the one thing that Trzynski and Hoyle and, you know, Hood, the experienced hitters will do, as long as the game goes at the pace that they're facing it, they will adjust to it eventually. You just don't want to make sure you lose all those opportunities that you're getting now because, yeah, as you were mentioning, you know, a couple of doubles here, we could have put this game to bed. The
outfield need to come in a lot closer than that. They're not going to, some of these batters here aren't going to hit the ball that deep, I can tell you. Not off this pitcher.
Tash Straps leading things off for Sturt. She's going to put the ball in play, and Kelsey Nucky an easy step on the bag. So it's 1 down. On the other side of the coin, West Torrens, they've got 2 runs, and here is a legitimate question with Steph Trzynski in the circle. Is that already too many runs in a game that Steph Trzynski's pitching?
Well, if you work off of her ERA and her stats over the entire year, this game's, yes, it is. However, being a final and the other factors going into it, I mean, we were talking, Eric, pre-game. I mean, when you take Millie Fidge and Sarah Tonkin out of your lineup, you're taking 40 hits, 29 runs and 20 RBIs out of your offense. That's pretty much irrecoverable.
Even the best money baller is going to have trouble.
Yeah, not even Brad Pitt's going to get a couple of players in to fix that. So, you know, but Sturt have always, you know, they always fight, they always find a way.
Well, I've said from the start, from day one, that the maximum runs you'll get off Steph when she's going, when she's firing, is 2 runs.
Yeah.
West Torrens have already got 2.
Yeah.
So the question is she firing today?
I think so.
Yeah, I think like, yeah, it's the thing that's obvious when Steph pitches well is that it breeds confidence to the West Torrens hitters.
To the hitters, it does. Yeah.
Because you can just sense. But she looks calm out there. She looks in control.
Indigo Beck de Silva up to bat, another one of those rare lefties in this competition. Already the West Torrens defense, they've had just 5 outs, but they've spread the love around a little bit. Nucky with the ground out, a fly out over to third, a line out towards center field, and a 4-3 put out, as well as a strikeout. So everybody except short, left, and right have made a defensive play already in this game.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, left-handers facing Steph have got to be ultra careful here because they immediately turn away with their feet when they're running, and Steph will just throw the ball away from them. You know, over the plate but away from them. They can't reach.
Scoop down, and that finds a soft spot.
And that was over the middle, I reckon, if you look at the replay.
2 hits now on the day off Steph Trzynski for Sturt. That's more hits than West Torrens have.
Didn't overhit. Like you were saying before, Anthony, didn't swing hard, just tried to push the ball into play over the pitcher's head.
But Bill did the same type of thing. I mean, that's what her and De Silva do, the way that they bat.
Yeah.
Jordan Lee might need to just rein that back in a little bit. She's her role here should got to be about contact and
move her on, move Indy on.
Yeah. And she's not going to do it like that.
No.
That's that funny thing when a pitcher of Steph's quality is thrown at you, she's throwing so hard at you, the natural instinct is to swing harder at her, and it's the worst possible thing that you can do. So,
got to play the percentages,
especially when you haven't had too much time in the middle. And I mean, that's Jordan Lee. That's her 4th league at bat for the season. It's semi-final 2, so.
Versus Steph Trzynski, who strikes her out.
Yeah.
So we've played 2. The Eagles lead by 2. We'll see if they can add on to it in inning number 3.
Yes, look, it's. I mean, right now, all the momentum's with West Torrens. Their offense is creating lots of opportunities, as you would expect. They're batting disciplined as far as pitch selection goes in the count. Maybe not the executions of swings, but that will come in time. And defensively, they're lights out. Steph's on top. You can get that sense that the walk-off game last year and the scenario and the situation and how they lost, you know, that's probably been eaten away for 12 months. And this is obviously an opportunity to redeem herself, you know, redeem that tonight and put that to bed. And you get that straight ticket through. You don't have to worry about facing Port.
Yo Grauer.
You can spend the week setting up and letting the other 2 teams go at it. So
playing Port Adelaide is a nasty consequence of losing this game.
Right now it will be, I think. I think Port were very businesslike at the end of that game, and it took them 5 innings to break the Cats, but when they did, it was over, and it was over quick.
Close until it's not.
That's right.
Kelsey Nucky leading things off. She walked in her first plate appearance. One of the most sure-handed first base players
Certainly
in the state.
Yeah, she has, and it has been for a long time. It's probably been the last 5 out of the last 6 team of the years at first base. Tells you something, doesn't it?
Well, Tash Straps at the moment, she would be right now leading the league offensively as a first baseman, and defensively, like her stats on both cases, you know, she's 274 for the season, and defensively she's 991. So for a first base to be 991, I'll take that.
Yep.
Not having Tash Straps play first base also a huge impact in this game. She allows another walk.
Yeah,
that's 6 on the day.
Yeah, and that's leadoff walks too, which is just leaving it to West Torrens in that regard. So giving them everything that they need. So
Brody Borovnik up to bat, playing game number 300. Only what, 22 years old?
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, seen some big milestones this year. I mean, Carindale's 900th, you know, which was crazy. So Mel McGee coaching over at first this year. She had a big milestone as well. I think it was 600. So yeah, great players.
Happens when you love the sport, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You hang around.
Borovnik swings through.
And speaking of Mel, they unfortunately got beaten today by Sturt in the C grade final. So an epic 11-10.
Line shot over to Bell White. She pump fakes. Kelsey Nucky had to slide back, but Bell White, welcome to the ball game. That's twice Brody Borovnik has gone out to Bell White.
Yeah.
One was a little pop-up, that one a line shot.
That was a good piece of the ball. You can still, I mean, great fielding by Bell, but you can still see she's the only one that's really making any vocal talk out there at the moment. She's still leading a team.
A long way to go in this one. We're only in the top of the 3rd, and this is a 7-inning game, but a pass ball and another free base.
Yeah, there's going to be some decisions going to have to be made here soon. Like, Sturt aren't going to just continually be able to let Eagles load up every innings and just wait for them to break it open, and consequently
chopped up in the air.
They're going to need to find a way to score. So
Beck Jury makes the play, and now 2 outs and a runner on second. This is the least amount of pressure that Sturt have been under all game, and the leadoff runner is still there and still in scoring position. Could
be just turning the corner now, I think, the Falcons, so if they can sit Mary down.
Yeah, so Mary Fuss, interesting after Christmas. She's currently batting 208, but you put a runner on scoring position, goes up 100 points to 318. So
she's had a couple clutch at-bats late in the year, hasn't she?
Yeah, she's been doing all right.
West Torrens, they got off to an okay start, as they normally have been doing, not firing out of the gates, but then they ripped off 13 in a row at one point before dropping 3 in a row. They found some form late in the season.
Good catching.
And now they're trying to stay hot through the playoffs.
Well, speaking of that, Eric, the real weird thing about leading into this final series, that the Falcons haven't lost a game in 95 days. The last time they lost was 3 months ago, and that was on a Wednesday night and they were undermanned that night. They didn't have their full list available, and that was when they lost to Walkerville back in middle December.
Haven't lost in 2022.
Yeah.
Mary Foose swings through the pitch. Full count. Already in this game, West Torrens have left 4 runners in scoring position. And that goes right back to Straps like a goalie. She blocks it down with her shin and makes the play.
Yeah, you can see the Falcons getting in and around Straps there. That's a gutsy play. Big smile on the face.
Could be the turning point.
Because if that gets on, that brings Amber Hood to the plate with runners at 1 and 3 and 2 out and a free shot. So will that give us some positive, will that give the Falcons some positive momentum?
I think it will.
Yeah.
Well, they've got Lauren Jury, number 9 up, and then Neve Adams and Rachel Tonkin. If they can get one of those runners on base, it will give an opportunity for Belle White to do some damage.
Well, they fell behind to the Hills a couple of weeks ago, and they still rallied and came back late. So Steph's not going to get any worse as this game goes on. She's a highly tuned athlete, so
highly competitive too.
Yeah,
and she's so fit.
50 pitches, 60, 80. You're not going to wear her out. So you have to find a way to attack her offensively. So, I mean, the concern was last innings that a couple of the young kids have come up and they've tried to meet fire with fire. That's not going to work. That doesn't mean that you just then bunt into the reliable gloves of Hoyle and Nucky at first and third either, because then you're just going to give away outs. It's about trying to find a mechanism to make it work for you. And whether or not that's the shortening up of the hands or the way that you change. I mean, we see a lot of batters bring the bat across when they're at 2 strikes. Do it earlier. I mean, try different things. You've just got to get the ball into play.
Lauren Jury leads things off for Sturt. Steph Drzezinski delivers the first pitch strike. Drzezinski off to Japan in just a couple weeks' time. She's moving over there for a great opportunity. She's timed that with the end of this finals series. This means a lot to her to see this through and try to bring a title to Eagletown.
Well, look, I mean, you've got an understrength Sturt lineup. You've got them in a semi-final. The Eagles aren't going to have Steph Straczynski next year. There's some talent coming through with Harper Bridley, but this is going to maybe be their best opportunity for some. You don't know when you're going to get back to this game, so this has to be the Eagles' time. They have to make the most of it and capitalise on it.
Well, the only way to play Steph is to get in the count early, because if you get behind early, she's just going to mess with you.
Swing and a miss. It's a drop, third strike. Carly Allen, easy play down. Makes the out. Third strikeout for Steph Drzezinski.
Yeah. I mean, Steph, by her own testimony a couple of weeks ago, said in coverage that her job's not to throw strikes. It's to make you swing
at balls.
But that being said, she's still got a 69% first pitch strike recognition. That doesn't mean that's not just cold strikes. That's batters also swinging.
That's
strikes.
what I mean about attacking her early if you can. Whatever the game plan is, like that.
Yeah.
Well, if we know one thing about Steph Drzezinski is she is a great thinker.
Yeah, and Carly's a bookworm too. So Carly's, look, she's a super experienced catcher. She was part of the last Eagles premiership teams. And
this generation of Eagles is a group that feels like, as Drzezinski delivers the off-speed, it feels like they should have maybe 2 or 3 championships to their name, but right now they've got nothing to show for it.
Yeah, it's a very talented list. And as I said, you take away the dominant pitcher in the league next year, and it can put you back. So, but Carly's, she would have done her homework on Sturt. She would have done tape. She would be looking at the book. Carly wouldn't have just rolled down to the game this week. Not the player that I remember. She wouldn't have just rolled up tonight with no plan in mind. So
very calm presence. And Steph Trzynski just blows one by Nevia Adams.
yeah.
So many tricks up her sleeve, Steph, hasn't she? And that's what you got to face.
Yeah, you can just see her body language at the moment. She's super confident.
Locked in, Steph Trzynski tonight. You mentioned earlier in the broadcast, Weather, that the infield for the Eagles normally very, very chatty, and they're still talking out there. It doesn't mean they're not communicating, but it's an aura of focus around them tonight. You can feel it from here. And it's been an impressive start. Neve Adams did well just to knock that away.
This is a great turn at bat.
Still a full count.
Hasn't got herself on base yet, but she's doing the utmost.
Very similar to her first at bat, Lee, where she did the same thing, worked 7 or 8 pitches.
That's what you want from the leadoff batter.
They need somebody on. Rachel Tonkin following, Belle White lurking behind. Put into play. Kaesler moves over, 2 down.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it on Thursday night. You know, the second strongest offense in the league is Port Adelaide behind Sturt. Statistically, when you look at the numbers, and the young Yankovic girl, she kept Port Adelaide at bay for 4.5 innings, and it just started to unwind in the 5th. So, that being said, nobody's out of it. Sometimes it just takes you a while to find that way, find your rhythm.
Tonkin takes a pitch. 0-1 count. As a batter, when you're going up against Steph Trzynski, as it's put into play, Kaesler moves over. Ball is low, but
Good
picked
sight.
by Kelsey Nucky. What a job by the superstar first baseman.
That's a great pickup by Kelsey, especially if she... I thought her foot had come off the base, but it looks like she's kept
Leading
it.
team's replay.
Yeah, leading. That's... Oh, great job,
Yeah.
Kelsey. Great job.
Safe glove.
Yeah. She's had to go right off the back of the base there. And you can see just backhanded glove.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, well done. Great job, Kelsey.
That is an excellent play from Kelsey Nucky, maybe their best defensive play yet. It ends up being a hard-working 1-2-3 inning, but a crucial 1-2-3 inning because it'll mean Belle White will lead off with an inning. So when you're facing Steph Trzynski as a batter, we've talked about this before, and I don't think anyone really has an answer because if they did, then Steph wouldn't have the numbers that she has.
Yeah.
However, are you just like sitting on one pitch and just hoping, playing the percentages, saying, I'm just going to look for one pitch in one spot, and if I don't, like, what is the approach?
Well, power hitters tend to, have a particular favourite pitch that they're going to go to. The reality is, especially when you have two teams that have played each other as much as these two teams, the reality is you're not going to get that pitch. It's not going to happen. Belle White doesn't go to the plate knowing that she's going to get an inside fastball every time she wants. So you have to adapt to what you're trying to do there. So sometimes you've got to think a bit like a catcher. Sometimes you've got to think a bit like a pitcher.
But how do you know what to think?
Well,
If you knew, you'd know.
yeah, but
Amber Hood?
The one thing is a guarantee is the first pitch you get from Steph, it's usually around about the mark. So go there, armed with that. When you're in the on-deck circle, you should be aware of what sort of pitches she's got in her repertoire and what is coming when the count is whatever.
Yeah.
That's what you need to do.
Yeah.
And that just comes with experience.
Yeah.
It takes time.
I'm not walking to the plate facing her with a long ball mentality in mind.
No.
That's not my concern. What I'm doing is I'm trying to imagine a space between, third base and short. I'm trying to imagine a space between second base and the pitcher. And I'm trying to imagine taking my hands to the ball and driving the ball through those spots. And in doing that, I'm not thinking of the fence. I'm not thinking of the grass. I'm not thinking about those things. And just really just drill down and process the focus of just watching the ball onto the bat.
And you've got to have a realistic point of view about it. You know, you can't go in there from the on-deck circle thinking, I'm going to belt it over the fence, because you're not.
Yeah.
Amber Hood jammed just a little bit. Bell White calls everybody off, makes the play, 1 down. Amber Hood led things off at the start of the game. She had a base hit. That's the only hit that West Torrens have had in the game. They have left 7 runners on base.
Yeah.
And it is now being a complete time, 2 times through the lineup where Tash Straps has not allowed a hit. However, 5 walks and a hit by pitch and an error.
Yeah. One concern, though, I suppose, just starting to see that's appearing here, is that there's a lot of flyouts from the to the infield from the Eagles, which means they're obviously just dropping their hands and getting in under it a bit. Tash has got the ball up in the zone a bit. So it's important to stay disciplined and just work on that line drive mentality.
Tash Straps has certainly battled this game, but it's still a 2-run game here in the 4th.
Yeah, Bill got on last time with a really well-placed bunt just on the right side of the diamond to a vacant second base, and forced Ruby Fidge to go and get the ball, and she didn't get back in time. So
she'll go running bunt here.
Yeah.
Inside.
That's the pitch to throw to left-handers, because it cramps them up, and all they can do is drag it to first base if they're lucky. You know, they'll have no wheels on it. You put it out, she can get to it. I wouldn't be letting that go.
Brings the count full.
Yep. But even with the hitting numbers tonight, I'm still not afraid to be batting in a full count against the speed of these types of pitches. Because if I'm doing
Slaps one into play. It's going to be a hard one across the diamond, but how's the throw from Beck-Jury?
Yeah, that'll make her feel good after the earlier throw went wild. So good job, good job. Yeah, I was just saying, like you wouldn't be afraid in the count late, but good play by Beck. She threw it on the up again, which is what she did last time when she threw it over the ball, over the first base. But
well, this is just the first inning where the leadoff runner has not got on.
Yeah.
For West Torrens, and now they're 2 down, nobody on. Lana Kaesler up to bat. Think back to the first 2 innings. West Torrens had bases loaded and 1 out in both of those innings, and all they could do is get that sacrifice fly from Steph Trzynski. Later a walk that Sophie Hoyle drew, but no big knock.
Yeah, you get it definitely 3rd time round against Tash in this situation. We'll see if the Eagles' power hitting has made any adjustments. So.
Kaesler, then Hoyle, the meat of the lineup right now for the Eagles. Again, lifted in the infield, not much going to the outfield, and Bell White has made about 4 pop-up catches over at shortstop, and it's a 1-2-3 inning.
Yeah, they're just getting their hands out in front early because obviously the pace of the pitching. So that's a timing adjustment, but you know the tough call for the Sturt, you know, Brains Trust at the moment is how much longer does Tash stay there doing what she's doing? Because this is the 3rd time round now.
She seems to be getting a bit stronger as the game goes on.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, that innings there, she's probably quick pitching a little bit. She's probably just her tempo.
Rushing.
Yeah, her tempo needs to
settle down and back off a bit. Yeah.
Does this game feel eerily similar to last year? Lots of opportunities early for the Eagles. They have a couple-run lead, but then eventually Sturt came back and won it in extras.
Yeah, well, the thing at the moment is that West Torrens are playing a game under no pressure. That's the thing. They've got scoreboard pressure on Sturt. It's not the other way around. So there's a confidence and a focus that you can apply there. Sturt have got to find a way to get a base runner on and to create that pressure.
Well, they start with the 3 and 4 patter, Bell and Maddie. What better position to be in to start with them?
Yep.
We don't know how many more at-bats Bell and Maddie will have. They'll certainly have 1 more after this turn in this 7-inning game, but this isn't a pitcher that allows too many big innings that the lineup will turn itself over a lot.
Yeah.
You got to make these opportunities count. Belle White had a double in her first at-bat. Maddie Cameron smashed the ball, but right towards center fielder on a line out.
I love the fact there that Steph's just thrown a real fast drop into the plate. Its ball's just kicked up and it's just hit Carly and it's just bounced off of Carly's chest plate and Carly's got up like it didn't mean a thing. So I think I would be laying around on the ground rolling. She's a machine, Carly Allen.
For at least a week.
Yes, at least.
That's a great pitch, isn't it?
And she's
Low.
just straight back up to the next one and let's go.
Yeah, and what are you going to do with that? Hit the ball to your infield? Then it's a case of Belle's pace against the arm of the infield.
Flopped foul. Best on best once again. These are the exciting matchups. Trzynski versus White, and then Cameron.
Yeah. So
I'd throw the low pitch again here.
So Tash Straps, Ruby Fidge, Indigo back to Silver right now need to be talking about what they're seeing, what they saw last time, what they're expecting, and what's their plan going to the plate. What's the intent? Is the intent contact? Is the intent to maybe stand a bit closer to the plate, try and close up the inside part of the zone and try and force her to throw the ball away from it so you can clear your hands? There's got to be a plan. They can't just keep on walking up to the plate and swinging.
And a big strikeout that Steph Trzynski gets on a pitch that just buckles Belle White, and that is a big scalp to take to start the inning.
Yeah, well, so in the marquee matchup of the night, White v Trzynski, they're 1-1. So White went early with a double. Trzynski comes back with a standing K. So
well pitched from Steph Trzynski. Maddie Cameron, she'll swing early in counts, and she makes no difference there.
She's the only one that's put Belle over the fence, Steph over the fence. Correction, this season. It won't happen again, I feel.
Although there's not a lot of wind tonight, it's pretty still. If there's a night where the ball's going to travel, this will be a night.
Well, you can have money with me if you like.
I don't think I want to take that bet.
Oh,
Takes a weird hop off the plate.
yeah, so Maddie had a real amazing season last year. You know, batting 600 is just insane. Her on base
Just doesn't happen.
700 was insane. You know, lots of RBIs. I mean, she's dropped all the way back to 449.
Oh, no. She's a special player, Maddie Cameron.
Yeah.
strong batter, strong runner, even stronger arm.
Trzynski just nibbling away. She didn't quite land that one, but just watch her little reactions, knowing that how dialed in she is. She missed that pitch by about a centimeter.
Yeah.
And she knew it. And
yeah.
She liked that one, though. Didn't get the call.
Everybody did, I think, or mostly everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a bit of Carly's homework is starting to pay off here, and Steph's executing everything she wants to do at the moment. So
when Steph is locked in, and that's a lot of times, as Cameron puts this up the middle, all 3 base hits today for Sturt have come by going right up the guts, and with 1 out for the first time today, Sturt can try to manufacture something.
yeah, so I mean it's difficult here at the moment. I mean Tash Straps has got, she's fourth in the team for RBIs. So and it's only 1 out.
Straps takes the first pitch strike.
Eagles straight away, Hoyle's come in at least 10, 15 feet shallower than she was fielding for the last 2 hitters. So she's obviously smart and conscious of the fact that there could be something short here.
Runner is going. Maddie Cameron gets down, throw not quite in time. And there's a runner in scoring position for the Sturt Falcons.
So Tash Straps goes from a 274 hitter to 393 with a runner in scoring position. So But that was a great gutsy call there to send Maddie, who's obviously got speed.
Strap swings through. Strikeout number 5 for Steph Trzynski. 2 of them coming from this inning. And now Ruby Fidge with a big at-bat.
Yeah, got to get compact here. Got to cut it down. Ball in play. Second to the pitcher. Try and hit behind the runner. Keep it simple.
Maddie Cameron hopping and jumping over at second base. She's also locked in. Ball chopped away.
First time though that the Eagles have actually, there's some pressure, you know. So this is what the Falcons need to do. But they need to sustain and push it.
Big cut, swing and a miss. Maddie Cameron aggressive.
Great
And
run.
she's safe. First, second stolen base.
Great running by Maddie Cameron. Whether or not that's been a call or she's done that herself. I mean, she now puts herself into a position when a pass ball she can score.
I think both of them were a swing above the ball. Myself, I was above the pitch, and then Maddie was going. First one certainly was.
Yeah.
That was the play.
Yeah.
Well, now a base hit scores the run.
Well, now if
Or a pass ball or an error.
yeah, that's right. So now the drop, you know, to execute a drop, it's hot, it's a little muggy, so your hands can be a bit sweaty. So, you know, those extreme pitches up and down.
Up the middle towards center field,
Wow.
diving! What a catch! Jackie Beal takes away a run. Spectacular stuff from the Eagles center fielder.
That's a massive play, a massive play. That's why they're the best defense in the league. So finally we see one of the young Sturt hitters not overextend and just make contact with the ball. But in what must make Lee very happy, Eagles defense in the outfield set up perfectly in the right spot. Yeah. Jackie's just had to make lateral coverage and taken a great catch.
Well, that's what I said earlier, that you don't, with a pitcher like Steph against the pitch, it's different when Belle White or Maddie Cameron's batting, or Sarah Tonkin when she's here. But the others batters, you need to be in close. You can take those catches. Save the run, as you said.
That's
Different
twice.
ball game then.
Last year, the story in the finals for the Eagles was, well, their outfielders, they leaked a couple runs. This year, Jackie Beal in particular, she's taken away a couple. You look back in the first inning, Belle White had the big double, and then Maddie Cameron absolutely laced one. It was right at Jackie Beal, but it was right into the sun, and it was one that she was fighting all the way. She made a catch. If she doesn't make that, Sturt scores, and now that one,
Yeah.
Sturt would have scored again, and this would have been a tie game.
Very safe glove, Jackie Beal.
Yeah.
Sophie Hoyle and Steph Trzynski will start things off, followed by Kelsey Nucky for West Torrens as we've reached the 5th.
So they've been very watchful tonight, the Eagles, which has been obvious in the game plan, but this next part of the lineup can really halt that momentum that Sturt are trying to generate at the moment by putting the ball into play, getting some good shots, and then putting the pressure straight back on Sturt, not giving them a chance to get confident and start thinking positively about what's coming next.
Hoyle in the air towards left. Lauren Jury moving back and running in,
catch.
tracking it down and making a play. We got an outfielding clinic right now.
That's why it's Premier League. That's a really high ball, and she's tracked that beautifully. Good footnote there for young kids when you're watching. So Beck, as she's made it to the ball, she's kept her glove down, and she's only set up her glove when she's in position to take the ball. So many young players, they run with their glove out. It slows you down. It changes your angle. So
First pitch swing, Trzynski going towards right field. This is
It's a
back.
great hit.
Indigo Beck de Silva couldn't quite bring it in. Steph Trzynski rounding second, pushing for third. She'll slide in. Safe, and Steph Trzynski with the triple.
That was a big shot, wasn't it?
Yeah, you can see Steph's raised her hands there. That felt good. It was a great shot.
Look at the leading team's replay.
It's a long ball.
That's a long ball onto the opposite field.
Opposite field, that's it.
So
On a ball, it looked like she sort of missed, too.
yeah. But she came up, and you can see that Steph's thrown her hands in the air there. That meant a lot. She's definitely been thinking about this game for 12 months, I think.
I think you're saying about a pitching change. One more run, I reckon that'll be time just about 3. There's a lot of runs, isn't it?
Yeah, well, we're talking like, as Eric was saying before, I mean, we're in the 5th.
Yep.
That means on schedule, that means Trzynski, Hoyle, Hood, they're going to get a 4th look, and that's a no-go if you're going to be, not when she's hitting the ball like that.
Yeah, and they're running out of options here.
Yeah.
Kelsey Nucky has got on base twice, 2 walks so far. She's also made that great pick over at first base.
Yeah.
West Torrens defense has been a storyline so far. They've scored their 2 runs from a sacrifice fly. One was from Sophie Hoyle. The other one was from Steph Trzynski with the RBI. The other one, Sophie Hoyle with the walk, and now another hit by pitch.
Yeah.
Does bring the double play ball into effect, though.
Yeah, but we just talked, and here comes Coach Adams now. So we've been talking about it. I mean, the funny thing is, watching the Sturt bench, haven't seen her been doing a lot as far as warm up goes. So, like, it's interesting. I mean, right now, I mean, I'd make the change. It's as simple as that. So, but you know, for a young kid like Ruby, she would need to be. I would think she'd need to be warm and stuff like that. I mean, I would go as far as putting Belle White behind the plate. Not saying for a moment that Neve Adams has done a bad job, but if I'm sending a young kid into the middle in a situation like this, if I'm throwing at an Olympian, I'm going to feel good about what I'm doing, knowing that I only have to worry about executing.
And if you miss, it's going to be covered.
That's right, and it's on there. But
and Brodie's a good hitter in this situation.
Yeah, like
with
this
runners
is
on, the runner at 3rd.
Well, this is again pressure's off at the moment.
That said, Neve Adams is an impressive young athlete, isn't she?
Yeah, she's done really well. And again, that's not for a moment any slight on her. But
well, no, when you have an Olympian on your side.
Yeah. Yeah. But this is, Sturt have been challenged all night. And, the score's 2-0. But that being said, we're at 1 out. We've got Carly Allen on deck, who's, a near 500 hitter with runners in scoring position and that experience.
Borovnik knocks it into the outfield. Eagles extend their lead. You can sing it loud. Brody Borovnik with the hit.
Happy 300th, Brody.
And that's what she does.
Yeah.
Situations like this in big games, she can do it.
Yeah. This could get away from them pretty quickly.
Well, scoring 1 run on Steph is tough. Scoring 2 runs is even harder. Now scoring 3 runs just to tie it.
Yeah. And 4
runs to win it. Well,
it's a big call. Running out of options, though. Running out of innings.
Brothers, what is the most amount of runs that West Torrens has conceded when Steph Trzynski has been pitching this year?
Great question.
4?
It wouldn't be a lot.
Would it be that? Was it that 4-1 game when Maddie Cameron went deep?
I think it was. Yeah, that would be right.
There's no way there was more.
Sorry, under the pump, I like this pressure. This is good.
It's finals. We got to put pressure on you too, Weathers.
Yeah. Can I have one of those, Chief?
Carly Allen up to bat, takes her first strike. Still in her hitter's count and still only 1 out. West Torrens have left 8 runners on base during the game.
The most she's given up is 6, and that was against Sturt.
Yep.
So she didn't give up those 6. Imagine what the ERA would be.
Yeah. Well, as I said, she's only lost the 2 games, and they were both against this team. So
Carly Allen. Bell White, a good effort, but that's going to score a run as the ball keeps fumbling in the outfield. They'll get the out over at third. Note called safe at third. They do score a run, and now it's opened up. It's a 4-run lead for the Eagles.
Yeah, I thought when Coach Adams was going out before, I thought that was the pitching change. So whether or not there's something we don't know in regards to the fact that they can't make a change or there's nobody there and stuff, but that's a good call. She's got in on the bat.
Mary Fuse up to bat. Big at bat with Amber Hood coming up after.
Got to shut Mary down here. Don't want to get to the top of the lineup with only one out.
She's been a strong hitter as of late.
They're about to get at the top of their lineup, Lee, for their 4th time, and it's in the 5th. So this is
telling you something.
Danger time. If the bells aren't ringing,
somebody should start pulling the cord on the bell.
Yeah. I mean, Tash has done an amazing job with the task that she's been given tonight in the situation that she's got. Neve Adams has done a great job, but
Fuse in the air. Cameron shouldn't be a problem. Makes the play, runner tagging, and it'll score a run. It's a 3-run inning and a 5-run lead for the Eagles. And a grand final is firmly in sight now. An RBI for Mary Fuse. Now 5 different players with an RBI. Hoyle on the walk, a sac fly from Trzynski, and a sac fly from Fuse, as well as hits from Borovnik and Allen. 5 walks and 2 hit batters. A big storyline right now for Sturt. On the day, 9 free bases they've conceded. That's either walks or errors or hit by pitches.
Yeah. I mean, we're 5-0, we're still going here, and the Eagles have already left a bunch of runners on, and they're still going. So tells you how dominant their offense has been tonight. So
Steph has faced 15 batters, and there's been 27 batters faced by Tash.
On the other side of things for West Torrens, they've allowed no free bases, no errors, no walks, and a bunch of great defensive plays. You normally, when you do a plus-minus of free bases or bases that you take, stolen bases, all that, if you're not on the positive side, you don't win a lot of ball games.
Well, they say defense wins championships, so.
And a big line out. That ends the inning, but 3 runs score as Amber Hood lines out in her 4th at bat, and now West Torrens with a commanding 5-0 lead. Another thing on that is you can't defend walks.
No, you can't.
And 5 walks and 2 hit by pitch is a tough one for a team that's very patient. West Torrens, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, and throughout the season, I mean, for those watching at home, I mean, these girls, they start their pre-seasons, some of them as early as July, some pitchers and catchers as batteries, so you put August, September, your pre-season into it, and then the season starts, October, you're working all the way through, you get that break in the middle. So the reality is when you get to this point of the season, you want to be knowing that what we're going to do is going to work, and we're going to base that on the fact that we've done all of this work to get to here. And so Steph Trzynski has timed her run beautifully. I mean, as far as, yes, she's pitched a couple of games against Sturt early, didn't pitch against them late, but they pitched her when they needed to. They made sure that she was, throwing what she's needed to. So she's thrown 81 innings so far this season. So she's, throwing a lot of pitches. So now she's in a final and she knows what works and what can be executed. Unfortunately for Tash, we expected to maybe see Ruby, Tash has thrown a quarter of that. So it's a really tough ask. As a coach, though, what I'd be saying to Sturt right now, hey, listen, we're 5-0 down. It is the double chance game. So the reality is we just go for it here. Bell White can get struck out. Bell White can hit a double to the fence, right? So that means that even the best of our hitters can get beaten. So I'm not expecting you guys to go out there and put it to the fence. But what I am expecting you to do is to make contact. And so that's what...
Compete.
Yeah, and that's what Sturt's battle's got to be for these last couple of innings.
Going to go back to Silva, trying to lead things off. And it's a strikeout. Six on the day for Steph Trzynski. She's scattered just 3 hits, and she hasn't conceded multiple hits in an inning. She hasn't walked a batter yet. She's only walked 2 batters now in close to 90 innings combined over the season.
Yeah,
that is a mind-boggling stat. That shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
But it does because she's amazing.
Yeah, she is. That's...
Jordan Lee just trying to find a spark for Sturt from 7-8-9. A game that started with the sun blistering down into the faces of some of the players is now ended in a very calm night here at West Beach, a rare calm night. Normally it's cold down here at this time of year.
No breeze at all.
Beautiful night. Now trying to do something funky, gets the bunt down. Nucky turns, fires. And this West Torrens defense is rolling.
Yeah, super sharp play. Well read, well anticipated. But, I mean, I suppose to Jordan's credit there, you know, she tried something different. Her last at-bat, she was swinging wildly. And that and even this becomes a bang-bang play. There's only 2 steps in this.
Had to be a good throw, yeah.
And she's had a good night, Kelsey, hasn't she? She's been batted 3 times on base, and done everything right in the field.
Yeah.
Especially that
great
backhanded
pick.
one. Yeah.
Jackie Beal had a couple big plays out in center field. Eagles defense turning it on. Chipped away from Lauren Jury. Still time for Sturt to mount a charge, but the task is not enviable.
Getting harder with every at-bat, and even when you do come back through to their part of their power lineup, I mean, when you're chasing 5, we're talking about a couple of hitters, so if this is going to be the fairy tale they want it to be, the reality is pretty much from here, everybody needs to get on before the power arrives. So
chop foul. It might not be the worst case scenario, to be honest, for Lauren Jury to get out here knowing that you could start the next inning with Adams and Tonkin, hope they get on, and then let that middle of lineup do some work.
Perfect. Yep, absolutely. And if anything, you'd want it to happen that way, to be honest. So,
or Jury, Adams, Tonkin, White, and Cameron all just get hits now. That would also play for them.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's going to be their last chance, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
Steph Trzynski is finding the edges. She's got 7 strikeouts. She's got a triple. She's got an RBI.
Yeah, when your pitcher's throwing a great pitch like that and striking out a batter, and she's just walking across the line and she's not even smiling, that's a pretty good sign that she's dialed in. So she's been amazing tonight, Steph Trzynski.
When she's pitching at this level, it is so fun to watch.
Yeah, it is dominance. So, but it's...
It's been a tricky one for Sturt, but they still have a couple innings to navigate.
Well, they've made their change.
Ruby.
So maybe an innings too late, I would think.
So young Ruby Fidge is going to come in and pitch from the circle. She's had a couple nice performances this year, though, hasn't she?
Yeah, and the day that she threw against the Eagles, you know, the Eagles didn't struggle with the pace. I think what it was just, you know, it was a different look, different pitches. So she's done some good things in the junior grades. I mean, I believe Sturt's under-18s were in the finals. Their B grade were in the final just before this game today. So, and I believe she's a part of those teams, obviously. So, she's a bright young talent. And this is going to be, you know, regardless of the outcome of what happens here, this is going to be good experience to know that you've thrown in a semi-final against a really powerful offensive team who are in the heart of their lineup, and that's why this change.
And the reality is, you're right. Ruby Fidge, if Sturt are going to win another premiership, is probably going to have to face the Eagles again at some point down the line.
Well, look, and you know, we're talking next year about Steph Trzynski maybe not being here.
Millie Fidge
going to Hawaii. You know, the Harper Bridley Ruby Fidge battle is what we're looking forward to in the near future. But right now, you know, Jackie Beale.
It is interesting, the pitching wave, right? Trzynski going to Japan. Georgia Hood's already left to America. Millie Fidge and Zolly Adams gone a couple years ago. Maddie Scott, opportunities overseas.
Yankovic.
Great opportunities. Yankovic, same.
Yeah, she's going as well. So
Poppy Carmen. She's already there.
I mean, these are great opportunities. I'm not knocking them at all.
No, but it also means that it's going to be an interesting Premier League next year, you know, in that regard.
New wave, and I'm sure there's going to be some imports next year.
Yeah, and that's good. That's, you know, tonight there's some young players out here from both teams.
It'll be interesting to watch those developments. And, of course, you're going to get players that come back. Maddie Scott's not too far away from returning to South Australia, and I'm sure she's going to be a great addition back to presumably West Torrens.
I would suggest that whilst the coach is there, I think there's a fairly good chance that she might come back to the Eagles. So, so Ruby just got to get. I was about to say she needs to just get back in the count here, so that's a good job by Sturt. Unfortunately, have let the Eagles lead-offs get on pretty much most of the night, and
3-1 count. Jackie Beale reached on an error, had that running bunt, and forced a really nice throw over at third from Beck Jury, had that diving catch. Jackie Beale's had a very nice ball game.
Yeah, and the catch.
Ruby Fidge gets her first strikeout of the day.
Yeah, right. A good drop on that ball by Ruby, so it was a good pitch. Yeah, I think Sturt might have made that change, unfortunately, in innings too late. And look, again, there's maybe reasons why we don't know that they've done that. And the outcome could have been the same, but it seemed logical to have done it when she went out last before. So
I think one of the issues as well, and I do understand what you're saying completely, and obviously in hindsight, yes. However, at that point, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 batters by Tash Straps were retired in a row before that triple from Steph Trzynski, and then it was the hit by pitch, and then just 2 hits, and Tash Straps seemed to get stronger as the game was going on, and then it was just a matter of 2 minutes when everything shifted. And by that point, it was too late. But I guess that's the thing. You have to preempt that, don't you?
Yeah. I mean, look, the outcome could have been different. You know, as I said, in a situation, and again, we hope that Sarah is okay. You know, if a player was injured and, you know, like Millie's injured and she's here on the bench, you know, if Sarah was here, the advantage of Sarah's knowledge and her smarts, she would be able to call the game from the bench, and that takes the pressure off of Neve. And you know, a lot's been asked of a lot of young players tonight of Sturt, and they have by no means disgraced themselves. They've, you know, Neve's been great, but it's just now a matter of trying to keep a lid on this, keeping 5 at 5, and you know, knowing that you've got 6 outs to sort of try and make something of it.
Sophie Hoyle. She's been hit by a pitch, and she walked in a run back in the 2nd inning. Hard to believe West Torrens left bases loaded twice in the first 2 innings.
Yeah.
Hasn't hurt him, though.
No. I've been looking at their lineup in that regard, just trying to find out why that is, because they do seem to, it does seem to happen a lot, whether or not there is something in that lineup that maybe, you know, in the next game, they're 5 up in a semi-final, so it's not like they need to make, you know, big changes. But I just wonder with the fine-tuning, you know, if they can get something more to utilise all these base runners that they seem to create.
Well, every single player in this lineup has got on base today, and 6 of them have got on base at least twice.
Yeah, well.
Pressure?
Yeah.
Hoyle just missed a little bit. Bell White calls everyone off, makes the play. 2 down, but Steph Trzynski coming up, and she's got that triple.
Yeah, so I mean, going into tonight, I mean, Sturt score on average 5.8 runs a game. West Torrens scores 5.2 a game. Defensively, Sturt give up 2.4. The Eagles give up 2. So they're both very, very similar sides in both categories. But the reality is, obviously, without Sturt's number 1, I mean, effectively, if you look at tonight, if you took Steph Trzynski and Carly Allen out of West Torrens, and you had Millie Fitch throwing to Sarah Tonkin the other way around, would the result be the same in reverse?
Yeah, the point is very well taken.
Bell White's 4 fly balls and a line drive she's had tonight. Hasn't had a 6-3 at the moment.
Odd stat line from Bell White in the field.
Right on top of the fence, wasn't it?
Just the flow-on effect from missing Sarah Tonkin is huge.
Oh. Yeah,
compounds a lot of things, doesn't it, really?
Can't be understated. And we've only made references to her, how smart she's behind the plate.
Yeah, what about her hitting?
Her offense is where they've actually, you know, those numbers that we talked to before about, you know, she's had 6 hits against the Eagles this season.
Trzynski, she's going to get her second hit of the night. Cameron cuts it off. Trzynski will stop at first. Kaesler holds up at third. She made it dicey over at that hot corner.
And great base running by Steph Trzynski in the background there whilst the play's happening. That she'd gone all the way back to first on the shot and then gone all the way back again. So great batting. Look, it's her night. It really is. I mean, last night when I watched the replays of those games last week, just seeing a replay of that there, watching the tape back of the game last season, it was heartbreaking watching that happen. And
it was exciting.
It was, yeah, look.
And then the preliminary final where they just couldn't catch a break. Balls just dropping in the outfield.
Yeah, the Hills were up and about. Georgia Hood.
What an energy they were.
Yeah, they were. And energy's the right word for it. They just brought something to that. So
the drums in the dugouts.
But Lee's been sticking it to me now for a while, saying, listen, you know, the Eagles, if their bats fire behind Steph, it doesn't matter about anything else. And as usual, he's right and I'm wrong.
Oh, well, that's one occasion, right? But I'll take it. But I said this before.
Semi-final too, big time.
They asked me, I think David Muggleton, our ex-team man that runs the show, asked me before Christmas, and I said exactly that. That's just how I read it. And look at it, now they're in the box seat, aren't they, for the final?
Yeah. She's just had a calmness about her tonight. She's just been focused, she's been controlled. Her emotion level for what you want for a pitcher has been exactly where it's needed to be.
Yeah.
And she's contributed offensively.
She's on for the 4th time out of 4, Kelsey. That's terrific, isn't it? Yeah. 3 base on balls.
And a hit by pitch.
And a hit by a pitch ball.
Yeah, and Borovnik scored runs last innings in her game 300. Now she gets another.
She'd like to have one. Here's a free hit here, I think, for her. Free turn-up bat here. How many we got out? 2 out? Yes.
Kelsey Nucky's stat line is going to read 0 for 0 with 4 walks, 3 walks, a hit by pitch, and a run.
She might be finding herself leadoff in the grand final if she keeps that up. So
she's yet to have an at-bat in this game. She's had 4 plate appearances, but grounded over to Bell White. Bell White just turns and makes the easy play for the force at 3. So they leave the bases loaded for the 3rd time today, which is crazy.
And it hasn't hurt them.
It hasn't hurt them. 11, they've played 6 innings, and this is hard to do.
Yeah.
They've left 11 runners on base.
Yeah, that's
a lot.
Yeah, for people that don't think that pitching, makes that big a difference. So, but look, I mean, in hindsight, I mean, it's interesting now seeing Sturt. This is the first time watching Sturt tonight on their bench. This is the first time that they've taken a pause from what I can see, and Coach Adams is addressing them now. So I'm not sure.
You can see that on the right of your screen.
Yeah, I'm not sure in the bottom 6, 5-0 down.
Well, this is the moment, right? If they're going to mount a rally, they got Adams and Tonkin leading things off. And then, as we call them in the lineup, Batty, Bell White, and Matty Cameron.
It's now or never, isn't it?
Yeah.
They have. It's still not over yet. And remember, if you're looking for a glimmer of hope, I mean, Steph did allow the 6 runs. When Steph allows runs, they usually come in bunches. The problem is those bunches don't come very often at all.
And they're few and far between, the bunches.
And for bunches to work, you need people on base. And that hasn't happened a lot tonight. So, yeah, look, tonight is just, they just need to go out there now and hit. There's nothing more to gain at that point. So,
winner of this game goes straight through to the grand final. That'll be played 1 week from tonight. We'll be talking about the grand final because we'll be at the grand final. Loser on Wednesday night has to play Port Adelaide, and Port Adelaide are very good.
Yes, I would not be looking forward to that at the moment. They looked really good late in that game on Thursday. 2
CAF Coral medalists in Port Adelaide's lineup. They also have an NCAA player who's yet to get a hit, and you know those are coming. Kaesler in the field. Eagles defense all night long.
Yeah, so today's been obviously a case of management. Sturt have got multiple teams in the finals today, and they've got players through under 18s, B grade, A grade.
Good point.
And so, the introduction of Ruby into tonight and the way that pitching's worked. I mean, in hindsight, coming from the bullpen maybe a bit earlier in that game, maybe having, going pitch for pitch, going to that old state mentality of, coming to the game ready and stuff like that. I mean, I know they've brought her in a fresh innings, and that's obviously a cleaner start for a young kid, but I just wonder if there's a couple of little 1%ers tonight that they could have done a little bit better, the Falcons, rather than just that unhealthy reliance on an Olympian and a superstar when you've got the likes of Tonkin and Fidge out. So, look, they won't have long to dwell on that, so they're going to have to regroup pretty quickly.
Rachel Tonkin ahead in the count. You knew that dart was coming.
Yeah. I like her batting, though, Rachel. She's not going to hit one over the fence, but she gets her money's worth. She's a good judge of pitches, and she doesn't usually chase anything that's way off the mark.
Yeah, but I think another thing maybe about tonight, we've elevated a 191 second-year player into Sarah Tonkin's leadoff role tonight, who's batting 364. I mean, I would have stuck Bell as leadoff tonight. I mean, I would have put my best player right at the top to get maximum at-bats, and if she's likely to get on, have some people behind her, get greedy and have Bell on, and then have my second best opportunity to not worry about advancing Bell, but getting on behind Bell, so that when my 500 hitter and Cameron comes to the plate, she's got a couple of opportunities, maybe straps with her 12 RBIs for the season. She comes to the plate and stuff like that. Sarah Tonkin, very difficult to replace.
Nice play from Steph Trzynski, and we'll say it again. Eagles defense.
I just feel that the fact they could have done some other things, and look, granted, I'm talking 75 minutes into a game where the results obviously now very, very difficult.
It is a good point, and especially if you go into the next game and you don't know if Millie Fidge is going to be healthy. I don't think Sarah Tonkin is available for that game, so then you do have to start looking at a different equation. And if the formula is that you have to allow only 1 or 2 runs. 5 is going to be too many in a final.
Yep.
Well, then how do you score only 3 runs and manufacture something from there?
Absolutely, completely true. I mean, and I said it about Johanna on Thursday night.
You're not going to score a lot of her either.
That was her first game under lights in 12 months. But, the one thing about her is that, obviously she doesn't get to...
Bell White over towards short. Kaesler, Nucky, Eagles, defense.
Yeah. She doesn't get, obviously, to train with the team very much, obviously. So you would, the question mark becomes about how much bullpen work is she doing. So if there's... Johanna got so much better as that game went on. So if Sturt's going to have an opportunity to attack Port, it's going to be early.
Look at the leading team's replay. Just watch Kelsey Nucky just hugging the edge of this base.
Yeah, she's been good. She's been really good all night.
Well, the game story here, 1 run for West Torrens in the first, 1 run in the second, 3 runs in the 5th. They've left bases loaded in the first inning, second inning, and the 6th inning. In total, 11 batters left on base. On the other side of things, they've been given a lot of opportunities. Lots of walks, a couple errors in the field, couple hit batters, and it is 11 free bases conceded by Sturt and exactly 0 conceded by West Torrens, and that says a lot. Lee?
Yeah, and Kelsey Nucky tonight, she's been responsible for a third of their outs. She's had 7 put-outs or been involved in 7, which is a fair effort, isn't it? And Steph has probably taken the rest of them, except for Lana. So they've had it between them, I think.
Yeah.
Carly Allen has a hit. He's got a walk. 1 for 2 in the game.
Top of the last.
Eagles trying to provide a little bit more distance, although you feel like 5 should be more than enough. But you don't know. That's why you keep on playing.
Yeah.
Keep on keeping
We've
on.
seen crazy things. Remember that last game of the minor rounds last season? I think it was Walkerville and West Torrens, where West Torrens had like an 8-run lead going into the, or 7-run lead going into the last. They had built it up. Poke to right field. That one gets by Indigo Beck de Silva. Carly Allen will stand up. No, she'll slide into second, and she's there safe.
Great job, Carly.
And a look of focus on Carly Allen, too.
Now, Coach Scott, be kind and
Run.
get a runner for her, will you, in the 7th? She's done her job.
Or an ambulance.
Yeah. Well, she'll know where to go.
She'll know how to start it.
Yeah. I mean, that's an epitome of Carly tonight. And if Sturt younger players can take anything, is watch her swing. Right? She's not a high back lift. She hasn't got a high front extension, but her swinging arc in the 45 degrees in front of her, and she's just used the pace of the pitch. She's found space and put the ball to play, and scored.
That's what Sturt don't need. The number 8 hitter with a double and sliding in.
Well, does that
head
mean,
first, swallow dive. It's a great job,
so
Carly.
Is Amber Hood about to have her 5th at bat? Is that what's about to happen?
That's exactly what's going to happen. Into play again. A bit of a delay picking that up. It was a rushed throw, and now it's runners on the corner with nobody out, and Amber Hood getting her 5th at bat. Another free base.
No fuss for fuss there, was there?
Yeah, I must confess I didn't expect a bunt 5-0 up.
No.
But she's also Coach Scott's brought a young player in to run, and but now here we are, top of the lineup, none out, runners at 1 and 3. So Ruby, this has got to be an opportunity for her now. Is that she's got to? This is one of those situations she's going to face in her career going forward. Now maybe it's happening before she's ready for it, but she's got to.
Started off hot, had that hit to start the game.
Yeah.
It's Riley Benedictson.
She's Amber's
running.
Amber Hood's a really hard player to throw to because she doesn't have any real obvious weaknesses. So.
What an addition Amber Hood was to this team. If they didn't have her,
as we've
covering
said,
Jordan Harris would have been impossible.
Can you imagine if you had both of them? Far out. I mean, like,
Well, how many players in this competition can replace the production that Jordan Harris provides to a lineup? You can probably count them on one hand.
Yeah, well, watching her and, as I said, doing the research for the game and watching the games back last year.
And she's going to slash one down the line. It goes foul.
Jordan was dominant in that game as far as not just her offense, but just in the field as well. And Amber, we've seen her do some great work behind the plate. I know she's played some time at shortstop, maybe not for West Torrens, but but at second base, she is as sure a thing. You can put pen to paper as soon as the ball's hitting her direction. So, but yeah, if you're recruiting a player, and the player that you're going to recruit's going to be the number 4 player in the league for offense, that's a fairly handy pickup.
And that's what I said all along about having Carly Allen catching to Steph, because it gives you Amber as the second base player, and with a pitcher like Steph, there should be a lot of balls going that area.
Yeah. You're right. It is a scary thought to have Harris and Hood. Yeah. Hood. Left field, that's going to cash in some more runs. It's going to score at least one.
Benedictson scores.
And rounding the bases, she's going to clear them all.
And so does Mary Fuss.
2 RBIs for Amber Hood and her second hit of the game. And it is now out of touch.
Big call.
I'm going to call it. Just like the election. I'm calling it.
Oh, well, what's your result?
Well, Labor's going to win the election. They're up big time in that.
Have you heard some information on it?
They've got, they've got a lead. They've got a 7-0 lead in the top of the 7th.
Okay. Right.
Labor over Liberal right now.
Oh, okay, right. Thank you, Eric, for that bit of information for us all. David Muggleton, he's stripped down.
David Muggleton's got his rig out.
And the crowd are saying in the stand, put it on, put it on.
Jackie Beal takes a pitch.
If that's a rig, I'm glad I've left out.
She's been excellent today, Jackie Beal.
I take it he's going to do some interviewing, isn't he?
I think he will be.
I think so. He's not getting dressed up for us.
Beal scooped over for Bell White again. Still no 6-3 from Bell White, but how many flyouts or lineouts has she had go her way?
Yeah, well, the thing I said earlier in the telecast that I was a bit worried that some of the Eagles' power hitters were flying up on the ball, which they were just well out in front of it. But, we did say that obviously the longer this game goes on and they'll tune to the speed. And you can see by the way that they're hitting now.
Knocked into the outfield. It found the soft spot. Lana Kaesler has a base hit. But runner is held up at third, and the punishment continues right now for West Torrens. And Justina Adams is going to come out for another chat with young Ruby Fidge.
I make it 9 safe hits. That's a lot of safe hits in the final, isn't it?
It is a very busy scorecard looking at it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we need to, the Falcons are going to have five days to regroup. And I suppose, looking forward, we finished minor premiers. You've had 20 wins in the regular season. You haven't lost a game in 3 months. We've scored the most amount of runs in the league. We've had the most amount of hits. There's a lot of things that we've done really well, and that's got us to this point and given us an opportunity that if this game didn't work out, and it didn't, doesn't matter.
They'll start afresh. Their character will take them through.
Well, they're the champions for a reason.
Yeah,
this is a very versatile and deep.
The debrief of this game, I think, will be quick and short, but...
Well, this is aberration, not trend.
But I think there's got to be some evidence there that the offensive lineup hasn't worked, for one, and defensively there's some question marks about, if Fidge and Tonkin are still unavailable on Wednesday, and you're going to rely on Tash and Fidge to get you through Port, who bat as deep as 7, And a couple of their players who have been struggling. I mean, Neves got a shot with an RBI late in that game. Tilton was a really tough out. Engler's due to, you know, go crazy at some stage.
And when they get on base, they've got plenty of quick runners.
Yeah.
We talked about it at the top of the broadcast. 3 of the 4 corners as this is chopped over towards Tonkin. Straps had to pitch. She normally plays first. That's one corner. Tonkin, she's out of the lineup, so Adams has to move from her regular corner at third over to catcher. That's 2 corners gone. And then, of course, because you had Adams move, well, now you have to put somebody over, and that ended up being Beck Jury. That's 3 out of your 4 corners are not manned in their regular position.
Yeah. And look, we've had a lot of shots on the right side of the diamond tonight, and that's quality hitting by the Eagles. That's a Mel McGee, you know, trait in there.
Discipline hitting.
That would be
is.
discipline hitting.
Yeah.
If Tess Straps is going to question our outside edge, and at her pace, we go with that pitch.
Trzynski in the air.
Oh, this
it's
is not
deep.
easy.
It's back to the wall. It's going to be tough.
Oh,
and
wow.
Maddie Cameron.
Excuse me.
My goodness. Magnificent. Maddie does it again. What a play out in center field.
She is
Amazing.
a legitimate superstar. That is so hard to do. Oh my God, what a great catch, man.
Up in the lights, wasn't it, the ball?
That is, wow.
Leading team's replay was fun to look at. Let's put that up again. I want to see that leading team's replay again because that was wild if we've got it. Look at this.
Here we go.
Walk us through this, Weathers. How hard is this?
Well, I mean, she's doing exactly everything we want. You know, she hasn't got a glove up early, but just look at her footwork.
Eye
I
on
mean,
the
she's
ball
rotated
all
and she didn't take her eye off
That's
the
it.
ball one bit. So,
Perfectly timed leap.
yeah.
Oh my goodness. Maddie Cameron, please.
Yeah.
She'll get a chance to bat. She's already got a hit in the game. One thing, of course, that the Eagles have done really well tonight defensively is they've neutralized that threat in the middle of the lineup. Belle White has a double. Maddie Cameron has a hit. There'd be no runners on base when they've got each of their respective hits. They haven't had an opportunity to really drive in runs. They've neutralized the threat.
How many leadoffs did they get?
Exactly 0.
Yeah, so that was the point. You know, like if Sturt were going to try and engineer a short game, take the leadoff away, put an out onto the play, and you neutralise that part of the offense. So, look, the Eagles, everything that they've done tonight has worked really well.
You know what happens when you take a catch like that and you come into bat first? You usually get a cracking shot.
Yeah.
Let's see if it follows the plan.
Deep breath from Steph Trzynski. She's got 2 hits. She's got an RBI in this game, and she was just robbed at the fence from Maddie Cameron with the bat. But in the circle, she's got 7 strikeouts. She's allowed 3 hits. She hasn't walked anybody. She's had good defense back her up, and she's looked focused, and it's been fun for Steph Trzynski. And now she's just trying to close out what has been a masterful performance.
And she's in the bottom of the 7th. She's in cruise control.
Oh, look at that. What a great pitch, Matt.
You like that?
Yeah. That's a great pitch called Carly and really well thrown, Steph. So,
Well, aggressive batters like Maddie are going to go for those, aren't they? At this stage of the game, nothing to lose here.
But remember this scenario last year. 8th innings, tie break. Eagles go down 1-2-3 with Fidge in the middle. Runners advance when Sturt come up to play. They're in the top of their line. They send Belle White, and Maddie Cameron comes to the plate. And so bases loaded, and you're in a tie break, and then Maddie Cameron doesn't go early in the count. She makes Steph throw the full array of pitches, and she walks her, and they give up the run and lose. So, a night like that,
that would have smarted.
Did that hit her bat?
oh, well, I'm thinking if it.
It's a foul ball. Let's get a look at the leading team's replay.
Maddie Cameron's just saying, I've got some evidence here if you're looking for.
No, that hit her forearm.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at the leading team's replay again. Can we slow that down? Yeah, that is forearm for sure.
Yep.
Well, she's already shown she's showing the plate umpire. See this big red mark on here? That's the ball on my arm. Far out.
Let's see if we can bring that replay back again after this pitch. Cameron swings at it. It's in the air. Kayser makes the play 1 down. I'd love to take a look at this replay again.
Or even Hoyle.
Or Hoyle, sorry.
It's all right,
was she over the plate? That's what some of the chat was there on that. Did she lean in over the plate?
That doesn't.
I don't think that doesn't matter. Yeah,
that's not going to change if it's physically hit her.
No, that's a hit by pitch.
Yeah,
that is a hit by pitch.
When it's not your night, it's not your night. Yeah. So look, Steph's had to sort of live with that for 12 months, and I can't imagine anything worse to finish a season that way. And look, West Torrens had their opportunities in that game before that scenario opened up, so it wasn't her fault.
Tash straps to the outfield. Mary Fuse. That is the first blemish that we've seen from this West Torrens defense all game long.
Yeah.
And that was just a...
That was a second baser playing right field, I think. But, yeah, so the important thing for Steph is that coming down to the ground tonight, one or two things can happen. You can let that situation control you or dictate things to you. But to Steph's credit and the work that she's done, I know that she's had some people around. It's been good to see a couple of, senior Eagles around the team lately. The likes of Mel McGee and, coaching legend down at the Torrens and Terry
championship pedigree.
Terry Lamery, having legends like that around the club. And, look at the situation she's in now. She's been able to not only put that situation to bed, she's throwing a masterclass here tonight.
Ruby Fidge.
I knew she was dialed in right at the start too, because I remember just walking past her earlier and I said, good luck tonight, Steph, and I just got the nod. It wasn't no conversation, no nothing, no emotion. It was just, yep.
No nonsense.
I'm here to do a job tonight.
She has turned in a special performance, Miss Steph Trzynski.
And they rise to favoritism now next Saturday, so a performance like this will put them in good stead.
Grounded over towards first. That gets through. And all of a sudden, a couple things that Sturt needed to go their way earlier in the game are coming a little bit too late.
Are these microphones live out to the players? Can they hear us? Is that?
If we're talking about the perfect defensive game that they're playing, all of a sudden 2 balls have eyes, and it's 2 runners in scoring position with Indigo Beck de Silva.
Oh.
And she slashes one foul.
At the very least, one thing I would be saying if you were coaching is that you don't want the final scoreline to read 7-0. You at least want to have something on the board to show.
And build something.
Yeah. Yeah, just say that, hey, look, they didn't hold us scoreless.
You can get a run off, Steph.
Yeah.
Although defense is helping out in this inning. Perfect on the free base count until now. But this is the first time there's been multiple base runners in an inning for Sturt.
Yeah.
West Torrens, though, scored 1 in the first, 1 in the second, 3 in the 5th, and then 2 in the 7th. That's how they've added up to 7. It's been a very balanced attack in the lineup. Everybody's got on base. 6 different players have RBIs. Amber Hood has 2 of them. It's been very balanced attack and very efficient and patient.
Yeah, the good players that have needed to play well tonight have played well,
And even the players that didn't need to did too.
True, yeah. But, Amber Hood, she's been great as a leadoff. She's been rock solid in defence. Kelsey's done a great job in her role. Steph's been dominant. Carly's called super smart and had a couple of good shots. Sophie Hoyle will be better for having a run. She hasn't had an opportunity lately. Borovnik in her 300th has contributed. Bill's taken a good catch. So it's been a great team performance.
Swing and a miss. 8 strikeouts on the day for Steph Trzynski.
1 out away from a ticket to the dance.
1 week from tonight. Jordan Lee is 0 for 2. Swing and a miss. You can taste it now. Battles it up high.
That's going to make for a very interesting game Wednesday night. That's huge.
It is. Port Adelaide versus likely Sturt. And now they're 1 pitch away. Eight strikeouts for Trzynski. A couple big base hits. Some nice plays in the field. Can she close it out here? Trzynski swings through it. 9 strikeouts for Steph Trzynski. And the Eagles are going straight to the grand final. What a performance. David Muggleton is going to be on the field. And Steph Trzynski, certainly in my books at least, probably the player of the game.
Absolutely. She got 3, 2, and 1, I think, the votes.
The Eagles scored 7, but they needed 1.
Yeah.
And Steph Trzynski probably waiting 12 months to get a shot at redemption in the finals, and she was masterful.
Yeah, absolutely. And that just shows that, you know, hard work, opportunity. She's earned that right, and that was a masterclass. Yes, Sturt had a couple of players down, but they still had an Olympian. They still had a couple of stars players.
And they're still the
around.
defending champions.
And yeah, so, but yeah, look, I think the debrief for Sturt will be very quick. I think we'll move on from this, but they're going to need to find a different way to beat Port than what they showed tonight, because if they play tonight the same way against Port and Grower, and the confidence they're going to come off having their first finals win, it's going to be tough.
Well, you know they're going to be capable, and it is a possibility. But let's go down onto the field. David Muggleton is with the player of the game, Steph Trzynski.
Thanks, guys. I'm going with Trzynski. Now, the memories are probably still fresh from last year's qualifying final. That was a much better run at it.
Yeah, so last year's final, coming up against her again, there's definitely something sort of firing in us to come out and do a little bit better this year.
Now, a little bit of a change up from last year. Last year, the Hills were the dark horse team. This year, it's the dark horse team in Port Adelaide Magpies. You're through to the grand final. You're going to face either the Port Adelaide Magpies or Sturt. How do you feel about either of those matchups?
I mean, both are really, really tough teams to face. And I think if last season and even the seasons before has showed us anything, absolutely anything can happen in finals. So we're not going to take any team lightly. Both of them are really quality top sides.
Now, with your side, the West Torrens Eagles have been in and around a championship for quite some years now. Is this finally the combination of players, as we are being eaten alive, that is going to potentially hoist the trophy up for you?
I mean, I hope so. We've learned a lot over the last few years, and I think we're feeling really good this year. So I hope this is the year.
We'll see you next Saturday.
Thanks, Dave.
Excellent performance from Steph Trzynski. 9 strikeouts on the day, just allowed 3. I don't know how the last one was scored. Maybe 4 hits. I think probably just 3 Lee. Fun to watch.
Yeah, it certainly was. And they're through, so they can sit back and just relax and see what happens Wednesday.
Oh, man. Wednesday. Port Adelaide versus the defending champion Sturt. It feels kind of like a coin flip game. It is going to be fun to watch.
It's going to be, Port's offense hasn't, to be honest, since Christmas, hasn't been as dominant as it was early in the year, but I don't know, there was signs. I mean, Letton didn't have an amazing game. Grauer faced 2 pitches for the first 2 at-bats, and it wasn't until late that she actually got a better pitch to hit, and did something with it. I mean, I just get the feel that, Port got through Thursday without actually
unscathed
firing, all their shots. And now that they've got that win, they've got the Hills defeat away from last season. And now they're going to face a Sturt under strength. It's going to.
What
be
do you
tough.
think
Does
about?
it feel
what
like
about-
both teams, if they played the same way as they did in their last finals games, are going to be in a little bit of trouble?
To Port's credit, they held strong. That was the important thing, that even when Walkerville did challenge them early, Port were able to keep it together. And then when they got to them and Yankovic started to, get tired late in the game, and they probably, were a bit late on their pitching change, and then the game just broke open. But, if Port play that game versus that team tonight, if they can take away Sturt's lead-off, if they can take away base runners in front of White and Cameron, and you've got Grauer in the middle, and you've got that many young state players in your team,
It's possible.
Port could be the Hills of 2022.
Yeah, they can. What about nerves for a preliminary final for a young team like that? Must come into it, mustn't they? They'd be sitting there thinking, well, Sturt, they look like we can take them.
Yeah.
But it's Sturt.
Under
Never
the lights,
lose sight of the
defending
fact that
champs.
it's Sturt.
Yeah,
There's only one way to find out, and we can only find out next Wednesday.
Wednesday we can.
We'll see you then. It's going to be, 8 p.m. start time? Or 7 p.m.? 8 p.m.
8 o'clock,
8 p.m. start time. We'll be on the call. We can't wait to welcome you and have you join us for what is going to be, I'm sure, an epic clash. So on behalf of everybody from the Spacequake Sports production team, of course, David Muggleton on the field, producer Mia, producer Brandon, and of course, Anthony Weatherston and Lee Hull. I'm Eric Ballnar saying good night, and we're going to see you on Wednesday.